YouTubers of the world, and welcome to Story of My Life, starring your host, this guy. How are you doing? I I'm doing well. My name is Arizona. Welcome to my stream. Welcome to the story of my life. Um, as you can see, throughout my channel, I have made a few changes. Um, I have actually revamped my channel. I've gotten rid of all the drama and all the bullcrap because that's something I won't be dealing with anymore on this channel. Hold on a second. So anyway, I'm back. Um, I'm doing this stream unlisted because I wanted to do this without any interruptions, without any, thing going on from trolling and rolling and screwing with me. You know, I just trying to get this charger to work. Hold on. Charger's not working. There we go. But anyway, let's just talk while I take care of some dishes. So anyhow, I'm going to do a little bio about myself. And might take me a stream or two to do it. So kind of bear with me. And let's get started. My name is Arizona. Arizona Sniper. Mr. Arizona. Whatever you decide to call me. AZ. Whatever you feel that is comfortable for you. Okay? But anyway, my name is Arizona. I am currently 49 years old. I am married. I do have a beautiful daughter named, I don't feel like sharing her name, but I do have a beautiful daughter, and I have a wonderful stepson, and I have 3 dogs, and I have, let's see, fact, let me describe you my dogs. I have one dog called Aurora. She's a beautiful husky German Shepherd mix. Very cute, very small. Not small, but she's getting big, you know. Very intelligent, you know. She's great. And I'll explain how all of this came about. Okay, I also have another dog that is a German Shepherd Pit Bull mix. His name is Pressure. And I've got a red-nosed pit by the name of Duke. Okay. And, you know, got a beautiful wife, a nice house, and all that. So, let me give you a little bit of a detail as to how all of this came about. How all this happened. Well, I grew up, you know, typical family, you know, a house of, let's see, there's me, my brother, and my sister, so house of 3, well, house of 5 people, including my parents, I was 5. It was me, my brother, my sister, my mom, my dad. Okay? And, you know, it was just a typical, all-around, you know, typical American family. You know, love to talk about sports. I swear to God, they ate, slept, and shit talking about the New York Yankees. I mean, they would always talk about the New York Yankees during baseball season. Then they would talk about some football teams during football. You know, my family was extreme sports nuts. I mean, they loved their sports. I mean, they talked about it all the time at dinner. You know, they would just, that was their thing. That's what they did. But with me, I always felt like I was the so-called odd man out, so to speak. Because I was the type of guy that I really wasn't into sports. I really wasn't into all that crap that my mom and dad were into, my brother and my sister were into. You know, I wasn't into all that. And so therefore, I was considered what you call the black sheep of the family. I was considered the oddball in the family. Because while everybody else was, you know, talking about baseball, talking about sports, doing all that, I'm sitting there, you know, watching animal programs, you know, looking at bugs, you know, discovering nature stuff, all that, because that was my thing. That was my passion. I never really did care for sports that much. So for a long while, I was considered the oddball of the family. I was considered, the loner, so to speak. Because I pretty much ran off my own since I was a kid. I've always done that. I remember one time, my dad and mom used to take me to daycare centers. When they were working, they took me there once. And I would always get sick there. Every single time I got there, I would always get sick. I'd always come down with either a cold or a flu or something because, kids there were fucking nasty. The people there wouldn't wash their toys and all this other shit. And, but every single time my parents came to pick me up, I was always just off by myself, entertaining myself. I've always been used to being alone. I've always been used to just being by myself, being the oddball, being the only one that does what I do, And for a long time, I thought that's what it was. I thought, I really thought that was going to be my life. That I was going to be a loner, be alone, and never be with anybody. I had a really low opinion of myself when I was younger. And I treated it as such. I didn't socialize around other kids because I really didn't feel like I mattered. I really felt like no one cared. Because like I said, my mom and dad were busy with sports and all that. And when it came to me, they had just, just pushed me to the side. And for a long time, I thought that my parents didn't care about me. I thought for a long time that I was just another pain in the ass. Because, I was adopted out when I was 6 months old. Because my real parents had abandoned me. And also, I was born with fetal alcohol syndrome. And so therefore, I thought and still think like a child. I I can't help that. I can't control that. There's nothing that I can do about it. You know, I am what I am. I think how I think, and that's it. And there's nothing anybody could do about it. You know, I had trouble in mainstream classes in school because I wasn't like all the other kids. I was different. And I grew up as such. People made fun of me. People picked on me. People laughed at me. People called me names. And you know what's funny? I got the same thing in my own home. You know, my dad always said that I'd never amount to anything, that I'd just be just another tard, you know, just at the house to take care of. You know, and he says, that's going to be your life. You're just going to be someone just for us to take care of for the rest of your life. And I got that abuse for years. For years. I put up with it. For years. I had to listen to it. For years. I had to put up with it. Until finally something snapped inside of me. And I said, you know what? I'm not going to do it anymore. I'm not going to deal with it anymore. I'm not going to put up with it anymore. So it was at that moment in time, I decided, you know what? I'm going to graduate. Because all the time that I went to school, I never cared about my grades. I never cared about learning. I just didn't give a fuck because no one gave a fuck about me. No one cared to fucking teach me. No one cared to fucking show me things. You know, no one gave a fuck. And that's why I threw my hands up. And I said, you know what? If nobody else cares, why should I? And that's what my mindset was for a long time. Till I started getting into high school. And I got put in special education classes that actually helped me instead of hindered me. The teachers were willing to work with me. They were willing to gain understanding about who I was as a person and how to handle me better. You know, when I was back in grade school, they actually wanted to put me on medication to try and help me. And my dad said, fuck no. No. There will be no son of mine on using pills to fucking, settle his shit. No. My dad really, really refused that shit. He was really, really a big stickler not to do that. Because his way was simple. You know, you got a problem, you tough it out. Because my dad was a very strict and very stern military man. very stern. For instance, when I was little, and he said, look, see that clock on the wall? When that clock reaches 6 o'clock, I expect you to be in this house. Not 1 minute later, not 1 minute less. 6 o'clock, I expect you to be here. And if I wasn't, he was waiting for me with the belt. That's how strict he was. Because he didn't screw around. When he told you to do something, and by golly, you did it. Regardless of what's going on, you did it. Without question, without asking why, nothing. You just did it. Period. Point blank. You just did it. And that's the way I grew up. But like I said, when I got into high school, and I finally, got teachers that were actually trying to help me instead of not giving a fuck, and that's when I started giving a fuck, and I said, you know what? I got pissed. I said, you know what? I'm going to prove to everybody and my dad that I could be a fucking success. And I'm going to do everything I can, and I'm going to be a success. And you know what? Guess what? I did. I turned in every single assignment that was given to me. I even did extra credit just to get it going. I turned in every single assignment that was given to me. I turned in every single paper that was given to me. I read everything. I learned everything. And guess what? I made the honor roll and the principals list 4 years in a fucking row. 4 years in a fucking row. And guess what? At the end of the year, I graduated with honors. Graduated with honors. At the end of the year, I graduated with honors. And then you know what else I did? I went up to my dad. Shit. I don't know how I'm going to get this out of here. This plate's kind of stuck to the bottom of this. There we go. But, you know what I did at the end? I went up to my dad and I said, see, I did it. I did it. Then, you know what he told me? Without skipping a beat. And this was one of the first times my dad ever congratulated me for anything. He said, you know what, son? I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you because that's what he did. See, I kind of learned why he was so strict with me. I kind of learned why he was so stern with me. I know why now. I understand why he was. He was strict and stern with me, and not the other kids. Nobody else, just me. Because he expected better out of me than all my other siblings. He expected better out of me. Me. My dad chose me. And you know what? I didn't disappoint either. I got my first job. My first J-O-B. When I was 6 or 7 years old. I got my first job cutting lawns. Helping my dad cut lawns. And you know what? Guess what? He paid me for it. That's how I earned my money. Because he said to me, and he stated this, look, a penny saved is a penny earned. And he says, if you're willing to work hard to get something, then you've got to earn it. If you want something in life, you have to earn it. It can't just be given to you. It can't just be, learn whatever. It can't just be put in your hand and say, here, take this. No. It has to be earned, not given. And that's the mentality that I've always had. Ever since I was growing up. That was always the mentality I had. And that's how I grew up. With that mentality. And so, anyway, my childhood came and went, as usual. Graduated from high school, blah, blah, blah. I got real lucky because I actually I got a call from the service when I was younger, and they wanted to me to go in the service. And I told them I couldn't because at the time I already had me a legitimate job. I was working for a company, and I was working for them, you know, part-time over the summer and during the weekends and shit like that. Then when I graduated from high school, I went from part-time to full-time. And I was doing rather well. Everything was going smooth. Everything was running fine. I had my own car and everything was good. You know, life was really good to me. But then reality happened. Life. And I eventually moved out and moved in with a high school sweetheart of mine. It turned out okay, but it just, unfortunately, in a nutshell, it just didn't work out. And she really messed me up. And I, honest to God, I thought I was done. I thought I was done with women. I thought I was done with relationships. You know, I really thought I was washed up. And then just when I was at the absolute lowest part of my life, and that's when I met my wife. And I will tell you that story when I come right back. Stay tuned. So anyway, back to what I was saying. Sorry I had my camera off, but it's for personal reasons. But anyway, like I said, this goes back to when I met my wife. I met my wife, and at first, you know, I was at a very low point in my life. And I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to do it. But I saw her, she's just sitting there, pretty little thing. Sitting there, in an easy boy chair, just eating grapes, watching TV. And she and I both thought the same thought to each other. Who's this fucking idiot? Who's this clown? Who's this moron? We both said the same thing. And we were just, trying to, kind of figure each other out. And so later on, time passed. We got to know each other. Eventually, I moved in with her. And now this is where it gets nuts. We did something that I never thought was humanly possible. We actually took it to the next level, and she agreed to marry me. And we got married in the courthouse and all of that. It was great. I'm like, oh my God. I found me a woman that's willing to go the distance. That's willing to go as far as I wanted to go. Because I had a dream ever since I was 7 or 8 years old of settling down with a family and having kids. Since I was 7 or 8 years old. Because I didn't have time to be a child. I was too busy trying to work and trying to get things I needed to keep myself going. I didn't have time to be a kid. I didn't. I didn't have a carefree life like people think I did. No, I didn't. But, like I said, guys, I'm going to have to cut this short. I'm going to have to tell you part 2 later. My head is really starting to hurt. I don't know why. So you guys take care. Much love, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace. And as usual, thank you for watching. Catch me on part 2.